back to another episode of Advanced Level, a video game podcast. Thank you so much for joining us this week. My name is Felipe Prada. Joined with me is Oscar Portillo. Oscar, what's going on?
Hey Felipe, what's up?
Not much. Now I apologize ahead of time because I'm coming off a sickness. I was sick over the weekend. So, if my voice sounds off or you hear me drinking a lot of water or I'm like sniffling and coughing, I apologize ahead of time. That's not going to stop me from doing the podcast. We got a lot to talk about today.
Well, I mean, the weather, it's fall at this point in the East Coast, in the Northeast. It's getting a little chilly. Let's say.
Yeah, but the weather's been crazy as of lately. I mean, one moment we're in the 70s and then we're in the 80s, then we're down to 40s. So it doesn't surprise me that I got sick.
Yeah, it's hard to get your body adjusted. In my office, I work in an office, and inside it's super cold, and when you go outside, it's like hot as hell. So.
Yeah, so I was, a little bit under the weather, but
that's fine. You'll pull through.
Yeah, I'll survive. I'll barrel through. I'll sweat it out.
I know you'll battle that.
But before we get into the podcast, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on my backlog.
Oh yeah.
Now that I am officially done with Spider-Man, I managed to 100% it. I did it a couple of weeks ago. I decided to go back to my backlog and tackle Dying Light.
Okay.
And as far as the story is concerned, I'm about 75% done with the story. That's not including the side missions and the challenges. That's just specifically on the story.
Now, do you feel like you're gonna 100% it, or just complete the story and move on?
I'm gonna complete the story. I'm gonna complete the side quests, but I feel like there is a lot of stuff to tackle for me to 100% it. And the thing that sucks is now that I've played Spider-Man, I'm silently gonna be sort of comparing all these other games as far as content-wise to Spider-Man, because Spider-Man literally had the perfect amount of content, where you can get through the story, do all the side quests, and literally 100% the game, without having to go back and feel like, oh my god, this is such a chore.
I mean, Spider-Man is the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
So I'm going to try to finish as much of it as I can, because remember, the Dying Light Enhanced Edition not only comes with the story, but it comes with all the DLC too. So once I'm done with that story, I gotta tackle the DLC.
It's a similar situation. I'm playing South Park right now.
That's right.
And I'm about 20% done, and I bought all the DLC with it too. And from what I understand, the DLC is pretty. It's a good chunk of DLC. So I'm not sure how far I'm going to get.
So it's pretty hefty.
Yeah, I know I'm going to complete the campaign, the main campaign. The DLC, maybe I'll finish it some other time, but I know I'll get to the main campaign.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm focusing on for now, is the main campaign. And thankfully, Dying Light does have a very good campaign. It's one of those very rare games that the further you progress, the better the story gets. Right. And you get through these weird portions. Well, not weird, but you get through these portions where you have to go into like an office complex or a basement, a skyrise. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Resident Evil.
Okay.
Where you get like the long corridors and you get the atmospheric sounds, and it sounds like people are walking above you on the floor above. So in that aspect, yeah, it's really, really good. And I hopefully I'll be able to finish it soon before Red Dead Redemption 2 hits, because once that drops, that's it.
So you're gonna get Red Dead. You're gonna get early on, or
I want
day one?
Not day one. I'm not committing to day one yet, but I would have to say maybe after 2 weeks, because I do feel that somehow the game's not going to run properly day one. I feel.
I mean, Rockstar's pretty rock solid on their. That was my first one.
Okay. I wasn't going to say it. I was going to let you say it.
As far as any kind of issues, major things, they're pretty.
Go ahead, say it. Say it.
No, they're rock solid as far as their campaigns go.
Right.
Online, we know that it's a little spotty, but they're going to release that later on. But I don't think that Rockstar is one of the only devs that I wouldn't worry too much about.
Right.
Put it that way.
No,
as far as the main campaign.
Yeah,
the single player.
You have a very solid argument, but as of right now, I'm not looking to get a day one, but it's going to be an early purchase. So I want to make sure I try to finish as many games in my backlog before I commit to Red Dead Redemption, because that's a game you really need to commit to.
Well, at this point, Black Friday is coming up and Cyber Monday.
Exactly. You
So
already read my mind.
maybe,
You already read my mind.
so maybe it's just better to wait a little bit, even if it's a couple dollars off. You know, it can't hurt to wait.
Yeah. So now, moving to our topic of the episode, which is best co-op experiences. I feel like recently, okay, in sort of the gaming landscape, it's been really dominated by Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And surprisingly enough, single player games. Well, then again, this is just me.
No, you're right. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is coming up.
Which I am hearing nothing but good things about.
I've read it's almost better than Origins.
And that's a bold statement, because just like how I've said, and you've heard me praise it before, Origins was exactly what the Assassin's Creed franchise needed. It was the direction that it had to go in. And a lot of people complain that it's not an Assassin's Creed game, but guess what? Every game has to evolve. Every game has to change. There was no other course of action for this game to take. And I'm glad they did it. And now, yeah, I'm a little bit torn, because maybe they shouldn't have used the Assassin's Creed moniker. But let's face it, the Assassin's Creed franchise sells.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
I would have liked to have seen them create another IP like Odyssey, just leave it as Odyssey, and have it within the Assassin's Creed universe, sort of to expand the universe a little bit. But you know what?
But wouldn't that just be an Assassin's Creed game?
Yeah, you know what? It maybe this was the path that needed to be taken. But you know what? The game's getting good reviews.
Yeah,
from multiple sources. So that's another game that I really, really want to get, because if it's as good as Origins, then I mean it's a no-brainer. And like you said, Black Friday is coming up.
Right. But I think the single player game is in a good position right now.
Yeah, I honestly feel it's in a good position, and sadly, we haven't seen really any good co-op games lately. I don't know about you. Maybe.
I mean, the last one that I know of is A Way Out. That's the last game, and I mean, it came out this year, but I don't know if it sold well, or I heard it was good.
Yeah, I heard it was good too, but then again, like how you said, we don't know how well it did. We don't know if it managed to find its way out of the pile.
All right, that's it.
You sound a little disappointed in that one.
Because there's a layup. But you only get one. So.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. That's it. That's my one.
But there was a layup.
Yeah. Now, I have a little bit of a list. I have a couple games that I feel like are really, really, really good co-op experiences. Now, who knows? Maybe you have a list of best co-op games, or you feel like that the best co-op games. If you do, I figured
I'll see what you say, and then I'll go.
Yeah, I figured I'll go over my list. You go over your list, and then we'll talk about it. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. Let's start with the first game, which I really, really didn't want to put on this so-called list, but I can't deny the fact that it does it very well. And I'm talking about the Destiny franchise, Destiny 1 and 2.
Okay. I'm surprised you
because
you're saying that, because I know
exactly, because you know how I feel about Destiny. But I like to give credit where credit is due. And if there's something that Destiny does very well is co-op. I'm not going to deny it. We've played a lot of Destiny.
The first one.
And the second one was actually part of the PlayStation free month last month, which was September, which was a complete shock.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you as far as the co-op. You did it really well. If you really were into grinding, especially the early versions of Destiny, I can't deny it. It did it really well.
Yeah, and it definitely deserves to be on the list. But shifting from Destiny, another game that has sort of a history in co-op is Diablo 3.
Right.
And I'll see a lot of players still prefer Diablo 2, but we can't deny the fact that Diablo 3 was able to really catch on, especially on consoles. Nobody thought that you would be able to make a Diablo game on a console, because it was strictly PC.
I mean, Diablo is Blizzard again. We played it a while. I mean, it's not my thing, but I can see why people love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's Blizzard. They managed to pull rabbits out of hats left and right.
And they don't. It seems like they never do anything wrong.
No, they don't. And moving on to the next game, not really a game, but more like a game mode. And I'm talking about mercenary modes from Resident Evil.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's what I was gonna mention as well. If you didn't say anything.
I understand that mercenary modes was introduced in Resident Evil 4, but I felt like it really, really gained popularity in Resident Evil 4 and no, Resident Evil 5 and 6, which we both played a lot of mercenary mode in those two games.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost better than the game itself.
Exactly. That's why I said not the game, but the game mode. And if you ever had the opportunity to pick up Resident Evil Revelations 2, they also have mercenary modes, but it's really called raid mode, which adds RPG elements to mercenary mode, which is really, really good.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they pretty much amped up mercenary mode. It's really, really good.
I mean, especially the one we played a lot in Resident Evil 5.
Oh yeah.
And it's just everything good about Resident Evil, but in
A co-op setting.
not in so much a co-op setting, but in a few minutes, in a few minutes.
Yeah, you get
You don't
those.
need to play the campaign. You just get the best out of that game. And if you just have a few minutes to play, even if it's just with the AI. I mean, the AI kind of sucks, but it's the best of Resident Evil in little bite size.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And speaking of the best of, and I think no co-op list could not have this one game, and I'm talking about Left 4 Dead 2. I don't know if you've gotten an opportunity to play Left 4 Dead 2.
No, I didn't get a chance.
By far one of the best co-op shooters and one of the most hectic co-op shooters I have ever had the opportunity of playing. You want to talk about something escalating quickly? Play Left 4 Dead 2.
I mean, I've heard good things about it. I just, I just never got a chance to play it, so I can't even tell you anything about it.
But it's definitely a game.
It did have like online, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. It was predominantly an online
Okay.
only shooter. Yeah,
Okay.
one of the very first. I think it was one of the very first online only shooters. If
I
my
mean, that's what I feel like. Yeah.
yeah, and another predominantly online shooter that is next on the list is the Borderlands series.
Again, I haven't played any of them except the Telltale one, and I don't even think that counts.
No, it doesn't. But
See?
like I said, another really good. Not only was the game good, but just the drop in, drop out co-op, the co-op aspect, everything about the game was just it mixed very well. All right, and it's co-op done right. You could play the game completely by yourself, or you could do it with a friend. It doesn't really matter. You could play the game exactly how you want, and it just
Was the AI any good?
yeah, the AI was serviceable. It was decent.
Okay,
It
okay.
provided a challenge, and it was one of those games where when you played with a friend, depending on the amount of people you played with, it scaled the difficulty.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so there's always a challenge. The next game I wanted to put higher on the list, but I really wasn't sure. But for now, I'm gonna put it in its proper place, and I'm talking about Warframe.
Okay.
Free to play. This game shouldn't exist. First and foremost, because it's just everything about the game is free, and it just does online co-op very well. I mean, even though it does have a PvP, but it's strictly advertised, co-op.
Right.
The entire game could be played in co-op by yourself. Another game that, if you have the opportunity, if you're bored one day, load it up, and you could see how much this game has evolved since its initial release back in 2014 on the console.
Yeah, I played it for a while, but the game I played, I'm sure, is not the game that you download now. I'm sure it's a totally different game.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And another game, my final game, that
Okay.
has sort of evolved into something that is it's just printing money. I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto Online, a game that from when it was initially released, we're talking 2013 on the PS3?
Yeah.
Now it's made it onto next-gen consoles with heists, mind you, because that was one thing we never got on last-gen consoles. We got the heists.
Well, we were promised,
We were promised, but you know what?
And
Better-
we're not gonna.
yeah, better late than never. We got heists. The game was outrageous. We played a lot of it online. We spent a lot of time in each other's virtual houses, stealing cars, punching people in the face.
Now, unfortunately, the multiplayer aspect kind of ruined it a little bit.
It did, but I think the game was more geared for multiplayer co-op absurdity.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree.
Because who doesn't want to drive down the middle of a boulevard with your boy hanging out the side of a window just blowing stuff up? That's literally how the game is advertised. And it plays exactly as advertised.
Yeah. And we don't even know what Red Dead is going to be like.
Well, they did say that they're going to use the same infrastructure. Now, this is from what I've read, from what I've seen in the trailers. They're going to use the same infrastructure, but they're going to kind of rev it up a little bit as far as online functionality, drop in, drop out. They want to take Grand Theft Auto Online and just make it better, which I'm afraid because Rockstar, they definitely deliver.
Yeah.
Granted, yeah, they suffer the bugs and glitches like every other developer, but when everything's said and done, when the dust clears, they pretty much will deliver a solid product.
Yeah, yeah. There's no doubt. For me, Rockstar is always good at delivering quality game product.
And I'm scared because I know for a fact, even though Red Dead, I'm going to call it Red Dead Online, even though they call it Red Dead Redemption Online, I'm going to call it Red Dead Online, is not shipping with the day one game. They're going to implement it a month later, just like how they did with Grand Theft Auto Online, to kind of try to iron out the glitches. But once this portion of it gets launched live, just be prepared. I'm telling you, it's gonna be you think Grand Theft Auto Online printed money. Just wait until this gets launched.
It'll be interesting to see what it looks like, especially a few months from now.
Yeah, I mean, not only a few months from now, because remember, the Grand Theft Auto Online that launched is not the same Grand Theft Auto that we're playing.
Yeah, exactly. I can load it up right now. I'm sure it'll be completely different.
So
we played it. We played a decent amount of it too.
Oh yeah, I'm at the point where I'm actually thinking about just revisiting it just to see what has changed, how much of it has evolved. But I'm really really eagerly waiting for Red Dead Online because I just want to see how much Rocksteady, how much Rockstar has learned from Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah, you can imagine the lessons that they learned and take that and apply it to Red Dead.
Yeah, that's really what I'm looking for. Yeah, I know the game's gonna be good. The online's gonna be amazing. I'm pretty sure the PvP, it's not really gonna change much because let's face it, the PvP in Grand Theft Auto Online was it was meh.
I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, and if I remember, they didn't add it until later on. If I'm correct, I'm not sure.
They focused on the co-op aspect and then they added it later.
Right. Okay.
So I'm pretty sure they're gonna do the same with this. But I'm really hoping that they focus more on the community, the co-op game. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some sort of raid, heists, bank robberies, train robberies. Maybe, hopefully, you can pimp out your horse. Maybe you could I'm hoping you could put some spinners on your coach.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. I'm not even joking. I'm sure that can happen.
They're gonna make it happen somehow. But as of right now, that is my list as far as some of the best co-op experience that I've had the ability to partake in. Okay, like I said, none of them are better than one. It's just that they provide an overall enjoyable experience. Not only that you could play by yourself, but you could play with others. So
the first game I have is, I can't believe you even didn't even mention this. The Division.
You know what? You're right. Yeah,
I know. It's okay. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. That's why I turned to you, because I'm at a loss for words. That you're absolutely right. I don't know why I didn't inject this game into my list, because
it's one of the best co-op experiences I've ever played.
And
doing a mission. I don't know if you remember one time we had. I don't know if you remember we had like 8 players in the I don't know if it was 8 players, but we had a bunch of. I remember in the dark zone.
But listen, I know exactly what time you're talking about, but the only way we were able to pull that off is because we had to go outside.
I know, yeah, that's true, but it still happened.
We had to go outside the construct of the gaming code in order to be able to roll 8 deep in the dark zone.
Well, we did it, and then that's the point.
Yeah, we did it. That was the point, and mind you, that was one of the very rare sessions, and I really wish that we would have recorded this, where it was just absurd what we were doing in the dark zone.
But aside from that, just the drop in, drop out worked pretty well. Looking at the map and then running around the city.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
I thought it was, aside from Destiny, one of the best co-op experiences I've played. Another one that you got me into a little bit was Helldivers.
That's right, a Starship Troopers clone, I think.
Yeah, and that was another one that was drop in, drop out.
That one was brutally difficult from what I remember.
It got difficult, but the early stages were easy, but then all of a sudden it got difficult.
Yeah,
But I like different combos that you can do.
the the difference in sort of the difficulty spike alone. Holy
Yeah,
crap!
yeah,
And it's funny because if you would watch us play at that game, right? And once it started to get difficult, and you heard the radio chatter between us, it was just we were all screaming. None of us knew what was going on. We would end up killing each other.
yeah. That was the friendly fire was a good aspect of it too.
And always, it never failed. I always somehow managed to drop a turret directly on you. It never failed. You know what? That's a game we should definitely revisit and do like a let's play. I feel like that game, like
Yeah.
really, like you said, the difficulty alone screams like absurdity.
The only problem was the difficulty spiked out of nowhere, and that was kind of weird.
It was, but it was a game that kind of forced you. You had to learn how to play it quick, and
Yeah.
they did advertise that game was going to be extremely difficult.
Yeah, they did.
You know, so it was no surprise, but we really weren't expecting that level of difficulty.
Another game on my list that we played, Payday.
Okay,
Just the aspect of trying to rob a bank and trying to steal jewelry. But you have to be that is the definition of co-op because you needed your partner to do his part, in order for everybody to get out.
yeah, another game where everything just fell apart so fast.
Yeah.
We're talking about, and I remember specifically one mission where I went into the back. Listen, that sounded wrong, but just
We know.
go with me on this one. I remember going to the back door. God damn it, that really didn't
No,
that didn't sound better.
I was gonna let it go, but
Okay, you had me go to a specific door and I had to activate an EMP. Now that cut everybody's phones, all the security feed, so we were able to get in. Okay? We got
Yeah.
in, we managed to get through the first vault, we managed to drill. Somehow, some way, one of the NPCs that was outside the bank manages to call the cops. None of us knew how the hell that happened. But we're talking about 0 to 10 in less than a couple seconds. Because when those cops came, they came hard.
yeah, they did.
There was no, okay, they're on their way. No, it was, oh my God. And it was always one of those situations where you only found out when somebody was downed. And you never knew
Yeah.
where they shot you from. So,
That was a game that the difficulty, another one that difficulty was up there.
yeah, but that game was the epitome of co-op. Like, if you,
Yeah, you had to rely on your team.
if you did not work as a team, there was no way that you were gonna remotely serve. You could, achieve the objective, but the goal was for your entire team to survive till the end,
Right.
and that was not gonna happen. So yeah, you know what? That was the epitome. If you want to talk about a co-op experience, yeah, Payday's up there.
My only other one that I think we played, or I know I played, was Lara Croft. Like the top-down Tomb Raider games.
Oh, what was the name of that Tomb Raider game? I don't remember.
Lara Croft and the Temple of Cyrus, something like that.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. Which, for me, that was a rather odd entry into the Tomb Raider series.
You're definitely right, but I think looking back, it kind of makes sense. Especially the puzzles, you need your partners to figure out some of the puzzles.
I think it's because we were so used to playing as Laura, and now we have a game where it's specifically co-op based, and now you're playing as other characters besides Laura.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there was always one guy that was Laura, but
Yeah.
you're right. There's other players, but the point was that you needed your partner sometimes to unlock a door or just grapple. Like I would go on one side and then you would grapple and I just thought that was a fun game.
Not only was it fun, but I guess since it caught everybody off guard, well, it caught me off guard because I'm like,
Yeah.
what, a co-op Tomb Raider? I'm like,
Like the top down.
Yeah,
I think
especially
the
top-down.
top down thing was
Now-
the
Do you think that, especially when in the confines of a co-op game, do you think it's best to go, I guess, third person or top down?
I mean, it really depends because a game like Payday, Left 4 Dead, those games are fine. But then a game like Diablo, the Lara Croft game that we just mentioned, So it depends.
Yeah, just imagine if there was a Payday game, or they made sort of like a spin-off where you're playing it top down. Like, would it still be considered a Payday game? And how would it work? I'm trying to, like, I try to think of these sort of things where you kind of take a game and you kind of flip it on its head a little bit.
I mean, it could still work, but the whole point of Payday, in my opinion, is that you want to feel like you're in there.
Right.
You want to feel like you're breaking a vault, or you're trying to survive the bank heist.
And let's face it, you play Payday for the masks.
Right, exactly. Thank you.
You try to accumulate a large collection of masks, which some of them were really hard to get.
Yeah, and that's the more rare the mask, it's like you almost like to show off,
like a badge of honor.
Right, exactly. Or the cooler the mask, So it can work given the right type of game, but a Payday, Left 4 Dead, same thing. They want you to feel like you're trying to survive.
Right.
And the third person thing doesn't work in that aspect. Another game I want to mention real quick is I don't know if you remember Broforce.
That game, for some strange reason, it hooked me at first, right? Because it had a very unique, art style, and it was obviously making fun of all sort of the popular franchises in the 90s and the early 2000s, because it had Neo, and it had Sylvester Stallone and Chuck Norris.
Yeah, it had all more the 80s.
Yeah, 80s, 90s to that, like the really iconic sort of action movies, and it kind of brought them all together. Like, I seriously don't know how these people didn't get sued.
Yeah,
because not only did they take the names, they just added the word bro to it.
Yeah.
But just the likenesses, you knew it was Rambo, you knew it was Chuck Norris, you knew it was Keanu Reeves, and I'm thinking, how the hell did these people get away with it? But they managed to get away with it. Kudos on them.
What about do you consider Bloodborne that, I forgot what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about?
The Chalice Dungeons.
Do you consider that something of a?
It's difficult because
we have to, because if we consider the mercenary mode.
Yeah, but the mercenary mode was actually better than the single player.
No, but my point is, we played that mode too, the Chalice Dungeon.
We did. No, you're right. Yeah, it could definitely be thrown in as sort of the mode.
Yeah, that's all. I'm not saying it's better than the campaign.
And I really, really wish they would have put a little bit more development into the Chalice Dungeons, because I really feel that it could have really taken on a life of its own.
Well, it still has I'm a big Reddit guy, and it has a hardcore fan base.
Yeah, but Bloodborne is always going to have that hardcore fan base. But now, I don't know if it was me, all right? But those times that we did play Bloodborne in co-op, whether it be the Chalice Dungeons or the actual single-player game, right? Because you could play co-op in the single-player experience as well. Yeah. Do you think actually managing to find one another, because I felt like you had to go through this song and dance just to try to get a game going. Like, I needed to ring a bell, you needed to ring a bell, it needed to sync, and then you had to wait. And then, because just given all that and thinking about it, I don't think they actually meant to have co-op in this game at all.
No, because I know Dark Souls has co-op. Like, Dark Souls has a similar pretty much the same feature.
But isn't it more of a ghost than an actual person?
No, you can. It has almost the same thing. You can. I can look it up right now. But I'm pretty sure it has almost the same feature.
No, I want to say you're right. It probably does have the same feature. I'm just probably thinking of something different. Yeah, I feel like that co-op game could have been done a little bit better, but that doesn't change the fact that yes, we have played a lot of Dark Souls co-op.
Oh, you're right. It's like Phantoms.
Oh, so it is Phantoms. Okay.
But I think you're still playing co-op. It's co-op. Technically, it's co-op.
So technically, it still is co-op.
Right. You could summon up to 2 players.
You know which other game just literally came to mind? And I know that the rest of the podcast is probably going to be coming, these games coming to mind, and we had a specific list. But, we're talking co-op experiences. So, you know what? Whatever game we feel that fits the bill. Remember the game Dead Nation?
Oh, wasn't... Am I think the top down like
Yeah,
Walking Dead type of
yeah
game?
the top down Walking Dead esque type of it's a twin stick shooter. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm looking
yeah.
for. There was a time when we played a lot of that too, and that's another game that the difficulty level spiked significantly.
That's when there was no other game to to play on the PS4. We that's what
Yeah,
we played.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it free to play? Not free to play, but it was a free
I
monthly game.
believe no, I think if you bought it, I'm sure it was free, but I'm not 100%. But I think if you bought it on PS3,
Oh, that's right. Now I remember. Yes, and
but I do think but you're right. I do think it came out later on for free.
it did. But it's funny that you
We
remember.
both had it. We both had it for PS3.
And not only did we both have it, but when we played it on PS4, it was during one of those points where literally there was nothing to
Yeah,
play.
yeah, nothing. Yeah,
You want to talk about a dry spell? That was like there was no water. That's how bad it was.
but that was the early days of the PS4.
No, you're right, and it's funny that because that's the one thing I really remember about that game, that we played a lot of it, but it was during a time where there was literally nothing to play.
Now, you mentioned Dying Light. Doesn't that have some type of co-op?
It does, but unfortunately, I don't have like my friends, or I haven't really gotten the chance to actually go on. Well, actually, no, I did it once.
Okay.
It was a much lower level because you could do it sort of matchmaking, and that's a game like if you partner with a friend, it's just much more fun when you're doing it with a friend, and it works very well, and just being able to parkour and and seeing your friend trying to make a jump and just miss it completely because the area.
Now,
Go ahead.
are you playing the campaign or are you playing like maps?
No, it's you can play the campaign co-op.
Okay.
You could, and I think the alpha version or the beta version of the new battle royale mode should be dropping soon.
I wonder what that will look like.
Well, it's a much smaller version. It's only 12 people on the map, but
Okay.
you factor in 12 people in the slums with zombies everywhere.
Okay.
So either you try to survive on your own or you try to wait for the perfect opportunity while somebody's being attacked to try to really pounce. So that kind of adds a dynamic battle royale if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not really worried about only yourself or only other players. You got to worry about environments, you got to worry about hazards, you got to worry about so many other things, which I think many games need to do more of. It just not the co-op, not the the battle royale where you have to face against 100 other people.
Right.
But it's just you have to focus more, not only keeping yourself alive, but trying to find an opportunity if somebody else is being attacked by NPCs or AI, where you can try to help them, which is not going to happen, or just try to take them out. And I felt the division did that significantly well in the Dark Zone, because the Dark Zone was pretty much a free for all.
For the most part, yeah. I mean,
know.
you ran with your crew, but yeah, there were the NPCs, and then you had to fight the other players. What about any kind of like beat 'em ups, like Streets of Rage?
There really hasn't been a good beat 'em up. Like the only one that I played recently that was sort of a co-op beat 'em up was 99 Vidas, but I wasn't able to find anybody on the servers.
Yeah, it was free.
And yeah, exactly, and that was a free game. So I'm thinking, how the hell did this fall under the radar? But the last good beat 'em up that I played was Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which was on PS3. That was the last good co-op brawler. And now that you mention that, yeah, we really do need another one. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Streets of Rage 4 is being developed.
Yeah, but who knows what's that gonna look like? So I saw it the other day, and I got excited, but I'm also like, I'm not sure.
So you think it's gonna go down the Double Dragon route?
I hope not. I don't know why that game gets so much crap. It's not that bad.
But there was Double Dragon Neo, and then there was the Double Dragon 4.
I played Neo.
So you played Neo. Well, Neo, there's
It
like
wasn't that bad.
I never played Neo, but I heard from, once again, Reddit, because Reddit's a periodical of noted worth. That
Don't.
No, I'm being serious. Double Dragon Neo had a very cult following, and a lot of people don't talk bad about Neo.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest thing, but I don't think it was that bad.
But I
It
know,
just wasn't. It didn't live up to the Double Dragon name.
yeah, and I know Double Dragon 4 didn't live up to the Double Dragon name either.
Another game I'm seeing here is the Killing Floor.
You never played that game, the
No.
Killing Floor 2, because I think that's the
Yeah.
one that's out now. Oh,
Yeah, you're right.
it was a free-to-play game, and I believe me and Gabe played it a couple times, and I actually do have some recorded video that I've posted in the past about it's definitely a game that it reminds me kind of Left 4 Dead, because it has that
Okay.
same sort of, it has that same feel, and it's 8-player co-op, first person, and another game that it goes from 0 to 10 in literally the blink of an eye, and I'm really disappointed that you haven't played that game, because that game is,
And there's so many games I have. I just can't play everything.
but it's really good though. It's
I know,
really
it's-
good online. But then again, no, you're right. There's just so many games for us to play right now. It's really
And I
difficult.
hardly have time.
Yeah, it's difficult to make time. It really is.
Another one we haven't even mentioned that we should have probably mentioned in the beginning. I haven't played it, but I know Army of Two.
That game, the first one, the very first Army of Two was amazing. It was such a good co-op game. And I remember me and my brother playing it a lot. And it was just between the humor and the way the co-op mechanics worked. It was at that time. I don't remember exactly when it was released, but at that time, that was literally the peak of co-op games. Like if you wanted to talk about a co-op game or the co-op game at the time, you were looking at Army of Two. Army of Two, the 40th Day, it was kind of more of the same. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And of course, we all know what happened with the Devil's Cartel. At that point,
Yeah.
EA was just like, yeah, whatever.
It was in 2008, by the way.
The first
Yeah.
Army of Two. Yeah, man. At that point, 2008, man. That 10 years ago.
Yeah, man.
You should
Oh,
see.
when
You should see the look on my face.
when you think about it, 10 years ago. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But that's one franchise that should come back.
It should, but unfortunately, now because it was made by Visceral,
I'm sure somebody can, I'm sure somebody can pick it up.
that's a
And,
game.
but it was released by EA, so
And it was funny because, well, not funny, but the online, the PvP, right, of that specific game, there was, I think it was 3 or 4 teams of 2.
mm-hmm.
So another game that relied heavily on co-op, and I do mean heavily on co-op, because if you weren't able to work with your partner, whether it be in the single player or the multiplayer, you weren't going to survive.
And then I wish I missed that, and I miss that those games. I just never played them, and I wish I would like to see, especially now with the online that we have, a game like that can really take off.
Oh yeah, now with what we have now and what games that can be produced, even an indie studio could just make this sort of game. I mean, look at Warframe, a game that's built on just co-op alone. How can an Army of Two type game not be developed? Just
Right.
get it together. Not make it open world, but make it the missions sort of come in at a constant rate. Make it online. You can even go ahead and make it free to play.
No, I don't think they would do that.
No, I know they wouldn't do that, but I'm just kind of spitballing.
I know.
The infrastructure's there. The ideas are there, the franchise is there, but it's just just taking the time and finding a team to actually develop the franchise. Because I honestly feel that franchise is dead. I feel.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think A Way Out. I'm not sure if that game really sold well.
A game that neither one of us has played, but from what I read, from what I've seen, it's a really good co-op game.
Yeah. And it had the interesting feature that if one person bought it, you could invite somebody that didn't have it.
Right.
And still play it.
And I didn't know how I would feel about the whole split screen. Even if you're playing online with somebody, you're still playing the game in a split screen fashion. And
I think they do that more for like go on, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you
no.
off.
And going to your point, it had to do more with like, I guess, immersion, storytelling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I can see it, where you're doing one thing and somebody else is doing another, so you're involved in a story. So I get why they did it. And a lot more companies should take chances and try to do something different. I wouldn't really say any of the Battlefield games, because that's really not what that franchise
What
is made
about
for.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I finished my point. Now, those games really weren't made for that.
But
But okay, go ahead.
well, Spec Ops mode
Spec Ops mode.
from one. Did you have Modern Warfare 2?
Did
Battlefield 3 did. Remember, Battlefield 3 did have like the co-op mode.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. It did.
I mean,
have,
they kind of sucked, but they
well,
did have.
well, but for what it was worth, that was the only co-op game that we got. But I remember the one co-op map where one person had to operate the helicopter and one person was a gunner. And
But I think that was that was Modern Warfare.
No, that was Battlefield 3.
Oh, that was Battlefield. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, bro. You suck driving.
I know.
Piloting a helicopter.
I know. I always tell you, man.
Even in the multiplayer maps, man. Oof! When I saw you behind the wheel, I just chose not to get in the helicopter. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not a pilot, man. I'm more on the ground. I'm more boots on the ground.
But you're right. Another.
But the Modern Warfare had a good co-op mode.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. I mean, as far as any other. See, and this is what I mean about we're at a stage right now where I feel like co-op games are starting to become more and more. They're going to fall more and more by the wayside. Like we need a really good co-op game, And
I just think because the Battle Royale mode is just taking off so hard.
Oh my god, it is. It's just taking everything by storm, literally. Like even
can't really.
And I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about blackout mode from Call of Duty.
I agree. I've been hearing it's almost better than Fortnite.
And this is just more of a side note because I know this is sort of a co-op topic, but I did get a chance to see the early streams of the beta.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty intense. The Battle Royale, because I've played Battle Royale for the one that we have on PlayStation, H1Z1.
Okay.
And it's decent. It's serviceable. We don't have PUBG, so of course we're just gonna find the next best thing. Mind you, I suck at it. I suck at that. I suck at Fortnite. So Blackout, it seems like I would want to just try it just to see how it would fare. But yeah, you know what? It does seem like this could. And I really hate using, and you can hear me probably gritting my teeth. I really hate it when they use the term something killer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is supposed to be the PUBG killer. This is supposed to be the Fortnite killer. I really hate it when they use that because 9 times out of 10, It's not. So please, for the individuals who are going around saying this is going to be the something killer, just stop it. Just stop it. Okay, let the game get its own identity. That's all I have to say about that.
But I do think, going back to your point, I mean, to be fair, the Battle Royale mode is taking over except the single player. I think the single player is. I don't know if we're having the golden age, but I think we're definitely seeing a resurgence in the single player.
Yeah, I was just about to use that word. There is a resurgence of single player, and I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think it started with God of War.
You mean the one for PS4?
Yeah, the one for PS4.
Okay. Yeah.
Because remember,
I'll go with that.
EA was all about single players are dead. There is the single player experience is not going to be able to withstand, multiplayer microtransactions. And you know what? I'm glad that they proved them wrong.
Yeah.
Because now that we have the single player resurgence, I honestly think that the co-op it doesn't need to be a big resurgence, but there needs to be at least one co-op game that says, "Hey, don't forget about us."
Well, I think I would like to go a little bit even further than that. I would say like Assassin's Creed Origins, Doom, those games.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's when it kind of Wolfenstein, the second one.
Okay.
I think a little bit before God of War. I think that's kind of the era that it really kicked off. I think God of War kind of took it to another level.
You're right. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about those games.
When Doom came out.
Oh, Doom was just. Oh, it was just.
And we didn't even. I didn't even get that game until I think you got it first.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't buy it till much later. And let me tell you, man, that game, it was just perfect.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely magnificent, and it brought us back to the 90s where it was just all about gameplay. Look,
right.
Put it this way, there was no reload in that game.
There was, but you didn't have.
Yeah, I mean,
There actually was, but it's
But you know what I mean.
I know.
And it's just that game, like, I really wish that more developers would just do stuff like that, just to prove that single player games aren't dead. You could make it, and not only are they not dead, they could be really fun.
Yeah, and Doom definitely proved that. But God of War definitely took it another step. God of War is so cinematic.
Now, do you think, right, and I'm going to bring up, not a point, but more of a, do you think God of War would have done just as good or even better if you were able to play as Atreus?
No, because Atreus is so that would break the. I hate to use this term, but that would break the immersion.
But you know what I'm asking, right? Like, make what happens if God of War
Me,
was...
like I would be Atreus or you. I know what you're saying. Like a co-op.
Yeah. Or like a game like Last of Us. If you got to
But
play...
again, they're trying so hard to for that experience, that story experience. Having two players talking on mic, that would take you out of it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, no, that you made a good point.
I mean, it's a good idea, but the whole point of those games is they're trying to deliver a story mode.
You know which game I think, right? And I'm interested to know your point of this. That should make sort of a big comeback and make like a game about co-op and really bring it back to how it used to be. The next SOCOM game, if they ever decide to make another one, because I feel like SOCOM, it was made for co-op.
I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I just think that there's too many
Military
type
shooters.
of games. What can it do different?
Or do you think too much time has passed?
No, I mean anything can come back, and especially SOCOM, where it was for a while. It was the Sony game.
It was the franchise pretty much for Sony at one point.
What can you do different? You know?
In an industry that's sort of saturated with military shooters.
Yeah, I mean we have Battlefield, we have Call of Duty. Why do we need another one?
So, in your opinion, which game do you think would make a good co-op game? Whether it be a past game, a current game, a game that you think should be developed with co-op in mind. Like, what game do you see yourself playing with, whether it be me or somebody else? Like, what goes on in Oscar's head?
Like a current game? I mean...
Well, it doesn't have to be current. I mean, it could be anything,
Didn't they do something for Castlevania?
But wasn't that like a mobile game? I want to say yes, but But then again, that's Konami, man, and they're just screwing stuff off left and right.
But we're just talking about, we're just
yeah.
I mean, something like that would be interesting to see.
Side-scrolling or 3D?
A side-scrolling.
A side-scrolling co-op Castlevania. Well, I know they are working on Bloodstain.
Okay.
But I haven't heard anything else from that.
I don't know where that game is. In that world.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah. You know which other game just came to mind that I'm surprised that I didn't think of it. Remember the game Mercenary Kings?
Yeah.
The sort of pixel like retro style shooter.
Yeah.
I felt
again
like
that was during the era of like where we had nothing else to play.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, it was wow. It was a strange period where it's like we had nothing to play, but yet we still managed to get all these games.
I mean, something like that would be cool, but
interesting.
I think wasn't there like upgrades and stuff like that? Or am I thinking of something else?
No. There was definitely upgrades.
Okay.
But don't you think if that was the case, it would be venturing down more towards the Diablo route?
Yeah, you might as well play Diablo.
No, but I mean, Castlevania's a top-notch franchise,
And that's why I'd rather see something like that.
Create your own vampire hunter. You get to craft your own gear.
Yeah, add the RPG elements to it.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
I wouldn't mind seeing that in that universe.
I feel like there's just there's so much content out there that I feel like, come on, somebody has to step it up. I feel like there's just so much wasted opportunity for a good co-op game.
I just think everybody's chasing the battle royale money.
Oh my god, that's just you're right. No, and I don't want to admit it, but you're right. Everybody's chasing that Fortnite money. Everybody's chasing the loot box money.
I want to get the loot box now. I think because now I think we're seeing. I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but and I think we're seeing the other side of that loot box thing now.
So it's kind of subsided.
Yeah, I think so.
I honestly hope so because I don't think I could see
What's
it.
the last real? I mean, every game still has DLC, but I think that word loot box is completely stained. That any game that has the word loot box in it, it's automatic. Oh no, that's bad.
Yeah, and who do
Star Wars ruined that.
And who do we have to thank for that? EA, that's right.
More specifically, Star Wars. Star Wars kind of messed that up.
Yeah, but
So I think we're seeing, maybe you're being too optimistic, but I think we're seeing the other side now, where they're staying away from that. Every game is staying away from it. Nobody wants to be associated with loot boxes.
No, yeah, I definitely agree.
Maybe I'm being just too optimistic, but that's how I see it. I don't see any games lately that have come out with that.
Yeah, there hasn't been another game that has had some sort of loot box controversy ever since Battlefront 2.
Even Lord of the Rings. What's that game? Lord of the Rings. Which one?
Shadow of War.
They took it out.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. I completely forgot about that.
They completely removed it. So, and even the one for Assassin's Creed, it's they have it, right?
Yeah, they do, but it's mostly.
But it's not. It doesn't.
It's cosmetic, but you can earn those loot boxes in game as well.
So that's my point.
Yeah, so you don't have to waste any money.
Right. So there's no. I think we're seeing the other side of that situation now. Hopefully, that's what I'm seeing.
Hopefully.
That's what I'm seeing.
But I'm telling you, I really hope that these developers get on the ball, and now that, I mean, they're always going to be chasing that Fortnite money. They're always going to be chasing
anyway.
for now. For now.
I would say that's gonna last. Who knows how long it's gonna last? It's Fortnite. And now that it's on PS4, that we have crossplay.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I'm thinking.
Listen, we're gonna save that for a different podcast because I think there's still a lot to talk about as far as crossplay. One of the developers has to step up and give us like a really good co-op game.
Well, I mean, like you said, we're seeing the Streets of Rage 4, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think Streets of Rage 4 is gonna be enough. Yeah,
at least it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's gonna tug at the heartstrings of sort of the retro, us. Yeah, the people who played the game and like the arcade coin op beat 'em ups, the Double Dragons, and what was the other one? Not
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, the Final Fight. Okay. That was another one. It's gonna really bring in those type of individuals, and I'm gonna play it. I'm actually looking forward to seeing it. But I'm talking about the one game that really is gonna bring co-op back front and center.
I mean, A Way Out could have done it. I guess I don't know why it didn't sell so well though. Or if it did, I wouldn't know. But it didn't seem like it because that game came out and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, there was a lot of momentum leading up to its release, and that's it. Once it released, it just fell off the map. And the game got pretty good reviews.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So I don't know what
happened.
It
had that cool feature that I can invite somebody that didn't have the game. I don't know why it seemed like they didn't even advertise that.
Yeah, I mean,
I found out from a coworker that he was playing with his brother, and I felt like that could have been the game. Again, I said it earlier. Army of Two could be that game.
And now we have Red Dead Online coming back. So who knows? Maybe that could be a sort of the co-op experience that.
I know that's going to be something. That's going to be a whole different thing.
You think?
It's going to be Grand Theft Auto Online, just with cowboy hats.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be that simple. I'm pretty sure that they changed it enough to make it feel like something completely different. Because that would be
why would they do that?
But that would be stupid in order for them just to be like how you said it. It's Grand Theft Auto with cowboy hats. Like,
why would they think about all they have to do is make it a little different.
The reason why I'm arguing with you is because I know you're right.
Grand Theft Auto makes so much money.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
It's still in the top 10 or whatever. And it's been released. How long ago?
Yeah, and if you look at the streaming, if you look at Twitch, if you look at it's still up there, and it
would be ridiculous to change it to a point where it would just be silly. I mean, they change it enough, but it makes so much money.
Because I mean, like you said, it's just cowboy hats, and instead of cars, you have horses. You know, but like, how much of it can they really change up? I really hope they added enough to make it different. But you know what?
Well, they did
I think
say
you're right.
the train heist that they'll have that.
I mean, I am looking forward to it though. I'll be honest. I'm really interested to see how much Rocksteady. I keep saying Rocksteady.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be interested to see how far Rockstar has come.
And to be honest, there's no reason to doubt that.
You know, I'm just looking. Like I said, I'm just looking for that next co-op experience.
I mean, I'm sure it's again. You would have to wait until the Battle Royale money is dry.
Which is gonna be a while. We know that.
How long do you see this lasting?
When did it start? Last year or 2 years ago?
Well, the game released 2017, but that mode released a little bit later.
I see a good 5 years total. I think.
5 years.
Yeah, I think. Because it's just a phase. It's a fad. That's it.
I know that, but 5 years.
You think that's too long? What, 3 years?
But think about certain things. The zombie fad. Every game has a zombie mode.
Yeah, you're right.
It lasted
Yeah.
about 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Every game has like a team deathmatch kind of mode.
Right. That's never gonna go away. Yeah.
I think maybe two. I'll say 2 years.
All right. So yeah, that sounds a little bit more realistic.
Okay, I don't. You know, gamers, we're eventually we're gonna get bored,
Eventually, yeah, we're definitely gonna get bored.
and they're already on season 6 or something.
Jesus Christ.
But again, that game, I don't know how fast the seasons are, so I don't know.
Right. Right. All right. Well, I think we've come to the point of the episode where it's time for us to say our goodbyes. So, of course, you could always visit us at www.levelbasedgaming.com.
Follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter, and visit us on podbean.com.
Leave us some comments below and share with us what you feel that your best co-op experience was, whether it be the experience that's themselves or one of the best co-op games. We're always looking to share our ideas with you. We're always looking for feedback, both negative and positive. Any type of comments are comments. As always, my name is Felipe Parada, and I'm being joined by the ever so graceful Oscar Portillo.
And well.